Where you should exit the market. Each and every market participant asks this question time and time again. Where exactly should we exit the asset if we entered it in the bear market or on a good dip? That's the main question. If you don't plan to sell, you're playing the market wrong. And today I will provide you with a comprehensive response to this question. In the market, people who do not follow the crowd are often doing the best. The ones that are perceived as geeks, that are doing their own research, that are spending countless amount of hours on it. They are early in the narratives, they position themselves properly, and then they're just waiting for a liquidity wave to come in. And then they're selling. And quite often they're right. And on top of that, it often does not take a lot of initial money in order to position yourself properly, in order to catch the liquidity wave and make big bucks. They also do understand who are they playing against. Whales, manipulators, people with endless funds, the sole goal of which is to take your money through the tool which is called the market. Use retail as exit liquidity. They believe they control your destiny. They know the weaknesses of humans as well. Your weaknesses, your fears, greed, behavioral patterns. Manipulators are thriving in this system that is designed to take your money. People are coming into the market with enthusiasm but live sad and miserable. I am here to help you to provide a response and high quality information to this question and help you to take control over your assets and over your emotions. Time will tell how successful we will be. Let's move on and see where exactly you need to exit the market. So the question is where you should exit an asset, at what price? Here is the trap. When you ask at what price I should exit AVAX, that's wrongly asked question in the first place. And that's why when you're asking a wrong question, you are getting a wrong response as well. The question should be isn't about the exit price, but rather at what stage of the market I'm in. Am I in the exit stage, distribution stage, liquidity burst stage, or capitulation? These are the questions that you should seek your answers to. Asking, should I sell at $80 is the wrong question. Again, you cannot find the right answer to the wrong question. The most important question that should interest you and me is at what stage of the market am I in currently? Today's video will be dedicated specifically to this topic. We will look at the various assets and I will show you how manipulation works, how the transition from one stage to another works, and how it repeats times and times again. I want you to stop asking foolish questions. Where should I sell? At what price? Should I sell at $40, $50, $72? I want you to understand stages of the market at each token and sell accordingly to the stage that you are in currently. So let's look at a few assets and see how it really works. So let's actually look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is alma mater of each and every project. Everyone is looking at Bitcoin, drawing different charts, rainbows, desk crosses, technical analysis, and things like that. We have a privilege currently where we can look in the past and understand what were the stages of Bitcoin and what was the market manipulation on this specific token. I will show you some information, very useful one. So let's start. Let's look at this zone, right? Naturally, we can see that it is an accumulation zone. This is the accumulation phase. This is where the market maker is buying the necessary amount of tokens, and until he would buy the necessary amount, the price would go nowhere. We can see that we have a top point and the bottom point in this range, and then once the necessary amount of tokens is acquired by the market maker, we see the pump. Then we see something very interesting happening. We have this zone, and then we can also see this zone as well. The reason for us having both of them is the fact that last cycle was very different from previous cycles as well, and the main reason for that was basically money printing. These two zones, they're called the zones of distribution. So the market maker is pumping the price up, and here he starts to sell some of his tokens in order to obviously take profits, because he spent a lot of time and a lot of money here in order to pump this price up. He was accumulating all of this supply in order to pump the token up, and he's burning his tokens, he's burning his money to actually make this pump up and let retail buy in, and then he's entering distribution zone where he's specifically dumping on retail. And due to the fact that the last cycle was very different from the previous ones, we do also have this zone. The whole cycle should have ended in this zone in the first place. The reason we had pump after that is because, as I mentioned, there was a money printer working and printing a bunch of money in the first place. Here we can see most of the assets like altcoins, they dropped 50 to 60%, and people were basically buying here because it is the zone of creation of liquidity in the first place. And usually previously, people who bought here in previous cycles, they would get wrecked because the market maker would just dump the price moving down. But due to the fact money were printing, we basically saw a second top. Guys like Virtual Bacon that understand the market very well, he basically exited here and he finally exited here. He did not take part in the second pump because he understands how the market works. He never saw how the market works under huge money printer going on, and that's why he exited here, because he did not expect that we would see a second top, the main reason for which was money printer going on. We do also have a zone of liquidity burst here as well, so it's a very interesting scenario. We had accumulation, we had distribution, then liquidity burst, second distribution, second liquidity burst, and eventually capitulation right here, and then accumulation that we broke out recently. We will actually see if we are not going to return into the accumulation zone because the market is manipulated. Most of the supply is located in the hands of few organizations and few individuals. It would be very interesting to see if we are going to dump back into this accumulation zone or if we are going to go up and have distribution along with the liquidity born somewhere here. There are actually two types of capitulation as well. The first one is focused on dumping the price. When the market makers are basically dumping the price, they're impacting the psychology of people in the market and they force them to sell. The second one is time. This accumulation zone took 2 years. So for 2 years you had to sit in the market, you probably lost all the interest to crypto is doing nothing and things like that. You should probably sell and get liquidity and do something else with your liquidity, right? And when everyone forgets about crypto, they dump, they exit the market, we obviously see the next pump as well. It's also very interesting to see that the main dip of the market happened in January of last year. That's the absolute bottom of the whole thing. And since then, we are basically in up-only trajectory for BTC. And here I want to show the chart of Solana because here the manipulation is perfect. It can be taught in universities, in books, it's just done very well. I would use a different instrument to show the manipulation as well. So here we basically had the accumulation phase where project just started, no one knew about the project and market maker was basically just buying out all of the supply, right? Then we had a pump where the price basically pumped here. Here is our pump. And after that, after the pump basically happened, we have a liquidity distribution phase. And it's very interesting because here basically market maker was telling people, you've done very good. You basically was here at $3. Currently the project is at $50, $50. So we probably should sell because everything is going down. And if we would actually check out the chart, every trader following these patterns, here he would tell you that we are going down. It basically just downwards trend that we can see here in terms of the price of this token. Very nice and very great manipulation because both people who bought early, they were forced to sell because the whole thing was going down. And guys that bought at the top, following these patterns, dump here, pump here, pump lower, dump here. So it's very great in terms of the things that were happening here from the point of the market maker, basically getting people out of this token. And this situation, it might be short here, but it lasted for hundreds of days. Very long amount of time. So there was a plenty amount of time for people to become sad, unenthusiastic, and basically exit this token thinking that it's going down. Next, what we see is the pump. And we also do see the distribution in the high range. Right here was our distribution in the high range. If you would check YouTube influencers at that stage of the market, you would basically see that a bunch of people were specifically talking about this token. Buy Solana, Mike Tyson going all in, everything is going well, everything is going great. This is the distribution phase with all the media machines attached to this token. where rich were taking money from the poor, from retail, using the market as the main tool. And in order for them to be at that stage, they spent all this time, they launched the token, they spent tens of millions into marketing. They've done this manipulation as well. They used the tokens that they accumulated here for cheap. They burned a bunch of money to pump the price up here and here. And here they are finally taking profits using media machines at the same time in order to basically get as much people as they only can to buy into this token right here. And then we had a very interesting situation with Stepan, because Stepan is something that was focused on the public, was very easy to understand, work to earn, and people just started to use their Solana to buy sneakers, NFT sneakers from Stepan. And everyone was just basically looking where to buy Solana, to transfer Solana tokens into Stepan and make money through work to earn through Stepan application, right? The excitement at that stage was insane. Tell anyone here that their $260 Solana will drop to $10. They will just laugh at you and they will just call you insane. Because back then, no one was asking what stage of the market we are in. Everyone was asking where I should sell, at what price. People were looking for the price to sell Solana at, but they were not looking for the stage of the market. And this is the stage where liquidity was born. People who saw Solana at $220, $260, they were happily buying here at $70, at $120. They thought they're on a huge discount right now. It's more than half off, it's a huge discount, I should probably get in, we are up only from here. Again, open YouTube, open Twitter, check out most of the influencers just screaming, buy the dip, we're going up, you need to enter now, there are huge discounts on Solana. This is where liquidity is born. People are buying here thinking that they're on the discount in hopes that the price of the asset will go up. What happens next is actually drop, and we enter capitulation and accumulation phase. And this is the phase where everyone that bought here, they just lose the faith in the asset, they basically exit, they forget about crypto, and they move on with their lives. And imagine the whole situation as it is, right? We basically had a 97% drop from the highs, which means that if you actually bought $1 million worth of Solana here, right now, what would you have is only $30,000 out of 1 million that you invested here. It's just crazy for people. Some people, they were selling their houses, they were getting into debt to buy Solana because Mike Tyson told so and all the influencers are telling about it. And what they experienced is 97% drop that turned their $1 million into $30,000. Do you think that these people would want to DC in these levels? That someone would come to them and ask, oh, just invest another million, it will go up. No, they will just want to forget about crypto. They will just want to move away. They would just want to get away from this thing as fast as they can, which is basically a classic example of capitulation phase. Just understand this pattern. It repeats every time. We saw a repeat here as well, and each and every asset is actually going through this pattern as well. You can even see it playing out currently. We had accumulation phase, the same right here. We have pump. Here is a burst of the liquidity. And we would see if the price would essentially go up, which would mean that we would have additional pump and distribution phase at the top, or if the whole thing will go down from here and back to capitulation as well, where people who were buying here, they would essentially be selling here as well, not believing into the asset as well. And again, the question is not to sell at what price. The question is, what stage of the market are we in? Let's say you missed this pump, you missed this accumulation stage. You might want to wait till we be entering additional accumulation stage on this asset as well. You need to understand what stage of the market are we in. You might want to check out other assets, new ones like Aptos and Sui, and see that we basically have similar type of manipulation going out on there as well. If you missed the manipulation already, the pump, just look at the other assets. Look at the assets that are still in accumulation phase. Aptos is very close to accumulation phase itself currently. Sui, it already did some multiples, some X's from there. Just put them on your watch list and wait. You might see another accumulation phase. Obviously, if you would see the market going down. If not, it can just go up, but we still can understand that right now we are in distribution phase, liquidity creation, People that saw Solana at $120, they are buying the asset currently thinking that it's a discount. Only time will tell if it is or if it's not. Let's check out an asset like Link, right? Also very, very interesting chart. Exactly the same thing if we would check the past as well. Here we had accumulation, here we had pump, here we had initial liquidity distribution, and people who bought here or bought here, they were getting convinced by the market maker, sell here, we're going down, and things like that. Then we see major manipulation, pump right here. Then we see basically distribution of liquidity bursts. Everyone is thinking that we are in the discounts here, buy now, buy here, and things like that. Then we see this liquidity creation as well. I would say it's partially capitulation and accumulation as well. And since we had money printer going on, we see additional manipulation happening on the asset. Then we are going down, and here is liquidity creation, liquidity burst phase, where people thinking that they're seeing a discounts, they're buying in, and the asset is just going down. Here we have capitulation, people are basically going down, and after capitulation, we basically have this, which is essentially accumulation phase as well. And with Link is very, very interesting because no one was caring about the price of the token, about the project itself when it was in the accumulation phase. The moment we broke out here, you could see bunch of videos on YouTube, bunch of influencers mentioning things about Link, what exactly is happening, what are the specifics and things like that. And it's very, very interesting that a similar thing just happened recently as well. We had manipulation, the pump, right? Here we basically had a stage of liquidity burst where a lot of people were convinced to sell the tokens as we would not see new prices coming out as well. And recently we had this small pump as well. So we would see what would happen in terms of this small pump. Maybe it's a fake out, but it's a very, very interesting fact that manipulation works on this asset exactly, specifically the same way. And the core, essentially, to be successful in investing is to understand this manipulation and understand what stage of the market you are in currently. Let's check out Atom Cosmos as well, right? We can see exactly the same stages happening. Start of the token, accumulation period as well. No one knows about the project. Only early adopters buy into the whole thing. We see the manipulation happen in the pump. Then we see liquidity distribution, liquidity burst phase distribution. Then we basically see the dump, capitulation. People are selling. They think it's a scam, it's going to zero and things like that. We see the phase of small phase of accumulation, capitulation as well. After that, we basically see the pump. And in terms of the pump, we did have these two tops as well because the money went printing, but it's the same situation. Liquidity burst phase plus dump capitulation, one more manipulation as the money printer is going right crazy. Here we have liquidity burst. People are thinking that they are on the discounts, $27 by Atom right now because it was just at 43, 44 bucks as well. Here we have final capitulation as well. And the thing that asset basically did, it went down for 86%, which is a fundamental thing. And then what you basically do if you believe in the asset, you basically just wait till we see the accumulation zone, and then we buy the accumulation zone. So we had higher ranges here, we have lower ranges here. It's obviously better if you enter at the lower ranges as well. Exactly the same thing is happening. And with Atom, we did not break through the accumulation zone at this stage. So if you believe into the asset, if you think that it's something fundamental, things like that, it's great to be buying at these levels as well. I want you to stop asking questions about whether or not I should sell at this price, at that price, and things like that. You should buy when we are in the accumulation phase, and you should sell when we are in the distribution phase. Distribution phase is where you would see a bunch of the news about the projects, influencers talking about it, things are going up, and things like that. So if something like this would basically happen on Atom, right? You might want to exit some amount here because it would be basically the first liquidity distribution stage. Here you might want to buy if you would understand that it's the accumulation phase, everyone is going to be bearish, and it's going to be the capitulation for people who bought here as well. And here at the top, when everyone is screaming about Atom, bunch of influencers are making videos about Atom, it's the next great thing and things like that, you would understand that it's a distribution phase, and the best thing is to sell at the distribution phase. And if you did not sell at the distribution phase, you would still have a liquidity burst stage right here. So you would still have some time to exit the market as well. And I want you to understand that these phases, they are not happening in an hour, in one day. There are multiple weeks for these phases to basically play out. So you would have enough time to either buy the asset or sell the asset as well. If you believe in this project, we're basically still in accumulation phase. The ideal entry is around $5 to $6, right? Which is basically the low of the lowest. But here it's still very, very nice because we still did not break out this accumulation phase for this specific asset. Let's check another fundamental asset, right? Project starts on the market, a market maker is buying out his tokens, and we have some early adopters, early people as well. Then we basically have manipulation, we are going up. At the top of the whole thing, we have a distribution phase where the market maker is taking profits. Then we're going down, and we have the liquidity burst. So here people are saying that, hey, this thing just was at $50. Right now it's at $20. We need to buy the whole thing. Then from here we have the capitulation, where everyone stopped to believe into this token. They basically just sell the whole thing, and we go as low as $10. And we have the second top, the only reason for which was money printer, because most market participants with experience, they thought it's going down from here and we would not see this top as well. At the top, we again see distribution phase. Here we basically see a liquidity burst stage. Hey, it's at $16. It was just at 55 recently. It will go to $100. Let's just buy here because these are very, very nice discounts, right? And from here, we're going down, capitulation phase. And right now, on DOT, we are obviously in the accumulation phase at this stage. So DOT basically did not break out. If you believe into the asset, if you believe into the team, you might want to enter here. It's a great entry following the stage of the market here as well. And some people, they will be providing you with price targets like 23 level is very great, it's very nice, you should probably buy and exit at $23. But it's a key thing to just understand market stages, because the charts, they are not that straightforward in terms of just basically buying and selling at 23, because technical analysis shows these things and things like that. Following technical analysis, we should not have had this second top just because of the fact that it's not something that was happening previously in the market. The only reason it happened is the fact that the money were printing. There were a bunch of companies during that stage, during pandemic, where they were not making money, they were not operating, they were not working, and their shares, they still were showing multiples because of the fact that Fed were buying the shares of the companies because they were printing money. That was the only reason why this was happening in the first place. Very, very important thing that I also want to show. Why not to buy at these levels? Why not to enter here? Because it's down and things like that. The main reason for that is because capitulation does not happen in one day. In proper market stages, in distribution, in liquidity bursts, in capitulation, and all over again, you would have enough time to sell the token and to buy the token as well. These things are not happening in one day, in 1 week. There are multiple amount of weeks for these things to play out. Therefore, here you might not have entered the asset just because of the fact it was too quick in the first place. Frankly speaking, it was quite hard to predict that we are getting a second top as well. Just throw this statement out of your head that you would not have time to buy, you will not have enough time to sell. These stages, they take weeks. You will have plenty of time to understand what is the current stage that you are in and what your actions should be according to the stage of the market that you are in on a specific asset. If we are in accumulation, buy. If we are in distribution, sell. You will have plenty of times and plenty of different criteria that would help you to understand these stages. Capitulation here on DOT happened for 2 years. You would have plenty of time and enough time to get into the asset. It's just very, very important to not buy at the distribution phase and to not sell during the accumulation and capitulation phase as well. You should always do the opposite. Buy the accumulation, sell distribution. And if, for example, we are at this stage of the market, so we are not sure whether it's going to go up, whether it's going to go down, just throw away your emotions into the window. You bought here, for example, you bought at the accumulation and capitulation as well. You went up here. There are a bunch of news about DOT already and things like that. You take profits on part of the whole thing. If it's going down and you understand that we might be in the liquidity burst stage, you might want
to sell some more. If we are going into capitulation stage and you still have some tokens that you didn't sell, just buy more. If we're going up and you see clear distribution phase on top, crazy news, crazy narrative and things like that, just sell. Sell a chunk, see what's going to happen next. We are going down, we are in a liquidity burst stage, sell some more. Here, up to you. Here, sell some more, and so on. Don't feel FOMO here as well. We're still in the accumulation stage. You still have plenty of time to buy into DOT as well. Don't think that people spend billions of dollars, they created industries, they spent a lot of money into marketing to basically just take 20% out of the asset and dump it. This is not how this thing works.
Please, just do understand market stages. When you're going on YouTube and you want to ask your favorite influencer whether or not I should buy at that stage and at what stage I should sell, you're basically just signing the contract on you to be liquidated, to lose all your money. You can't just go on the street and give the same amount of money to a random person. You need to understand market stages, you need to understand what stage we are in currently and what should be your actions without any emotions, depending on the stage that we are in. It doesn't make sense what is the current price of the token. You basically just spot the stages, you buy when we are in accumulation, you sell when we are in the distribution. It's very, very easy and it's very, very straightforward. If you would be asking your favorite influencer about the price, you would buy high, you would sell low, you will exit the market thinking that it's all a huge scam. Very, very sad on top of that. Here's what you can do. Just open up a chart of your favorite token and try to figure out, try to understand what is the market stage for your token, for your favorite project at this stage, and what you should do according to the current market stage. I believe you would understand a lot after that. And this is the way how you can take control back on the market. Remove emotions, remove FOMO, stop following the calls of your favorite influencer who's dumping his tokens on you, understand market stages for this specific asset, and invest according to the market stage. If you're on the market waiting for the calls of your favorite influencer to get into the token and to sell and basically make money, it's already too late. When they're calling the token, they already have the bags positioned. They would be the first to dump on you as well. And at the same time, you are not the one who is hearing the call of the influencer. Just do understand market stages for each token and work and invest according to it. Take the control back of your investments, of your reality, and of your success in the market. You need to remove all of the emotions, understand what exactly is happening, stop manipulations, stop people taking money from you, and work on the market and invest and actually be successful in this activity. Thank you for watching this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.